So I have a couple of dogs here, females, and they hate each other. I have no idea why. I think it's because they're both kind of dominant females and neither one's willing to look down or back away. They are both my dogs. There are some that I've collected from other people. They're kind of, hey, they're too aggressive. We need to get rid of these dogs. They have nowhere to go. And they're ones that I actually liked and I took. The day they met, they hated each other. One of them is my dog, Winnie. She's a female Boerboel. She's probably almost 3. And then I have my female Nyssa, and she's a Molosser, so she's a mixed Mastiff. A lot of Cane Corso, and there's a little bit of Boerboel, pretty dominant, pushy female. Now, both dogs get along well with other dogs, both male and female. They just decided from first glance, I hate you and I hate you. So they both kind of hate each other. So they've agreed that they hate each other, and that's where they're at. So I'm going to start shooting this whole series of videos on how I kind of repair or at least build that relationship. They've never been in a fight. I've never let them be with each other to where they can go off at each other and things like that. I've had them out and around working together in a very safe way. But I don't take chances. Like Winnie's, I don't know how much she weighs. She's 100 some odd pounds. And then I've got Nyssa. She's well over that. She's a pretty good sized girl. And they both have a lot of drive, a lot of go, and a lot of aggression. So there's no room to make big errors here, because if they get in a fight, it'd be a death match. And I don't want to be the one that has to hop in the middle of that and try to separate, because I'm going to get shredded up and torn up pretty good in the process. And that's a lot of dog to deal with when you're dealing with hundreds of pounds of dogs once they go after it. So I'll do it in a very safe way. I'll know before I go on anything. I'm going to use benching, leashes, fencing, different things to help make that safe. So bench cables are a really good way to go for some of this. I'll have one on leash, one on bench cable. There's a lot of different methods, a lot of different ways people will deal with things like that. For me, if I have to right off the bat, I could use a punishment of some sort. Both dogs find the water bottle quite offensive, although they both like the hose, but they think the water bottle's pretty offensive. I could use a rolled up towel, some kind of a noisemaker, something, and we'll see kind of how we progress. Right now, I haven't really done anything with it. They kind of live separately for the most part. If we're at work, they have to be around each other at work, and I don't tolerate craziness. But I actually want them to like each other's company. I don't want them to resent each other's company. So I don't want to have them, every time you're around each other, you get punished or anything like that. I want them to be like, oh, there's Nyssa. Oh, there's Winnie. Happy to see you, because good things happen when you're around. So while I won't always do just reward, I'll expect behavior and things from them. I can do some association work with rewards. So probably to start with these guys, I'm going to have them be by each other when they're by each other. If they're not in the wrong state of mind, if they're getting all defensive and growly, obviously I'm not rewarding that. But if they're paying attention to me and doing their job, I'll reward that, but in proximity to each other. We'll go away from it, and I'll go to praise reward. If I was with them close to each other, I might even go to food reward, kind of switch it over to prey as opposed to being dumped in defense. And then when we're away from them, I'll reward in social, as long as they're staying out of defense. What we want to do is keep them from dumping into fight. I'd really like them to keep them out as far as out of defense as I can, because I don't want these two girls going at it. And I want them to actually think that it's great to be around each other, because all the good things in life happen. So I'm going to use I've got a package of some kind of liver treats over here. I'm going to use those and see how that works, but they're going to get rewarded by each other. And I want to see where their brain goes as far as if I can keep them in that prey mindset and like, oh, good, Nyssa's coming. That means I get food. So her thought of Nyssa coming by Winnie is, instead of, hey, go away, it's like, hey, get over here, hurry up so we can get some of that liver treat. So it's a good tactic. Sometimes it works really well. I'll probably use a clicker with it and just mark it, and I'll pay each dog while we're by each other, and then I'll move away. When you're doing this, you have to be super careful. You want to make sure your handling skills are strong. You want to make sure you have shoes with good traction on them if you're on a slippery floor like I am on in here, or on a rubber surface instead so you don't slip. Especially when you're dealing with big dogs, it can be dangerous. But I'm going to work through it. I want to see where the brain goes. I'd rather stay out of the punishment realm, because realistically, I don't want to have to dominate or force the dogs to be by each other. I want them to actually kind of want to be by each other. And praise is a good way to do that a lot of times. I've already done it with another male dog. With some of the other dogs he wasn't liking that much. I built his prey side with gameplay and ball and obsession. And now he's running out with dogs all the time, and all he's thinking about is chasing his ball and wanting to play. He doesn't want to fight with them at all. So I used the prey side. I didn't punish him or correct him for anything. I just showed him outside or independent of those other dogs that would get him geeked up. And now he's pretty cool with dogs in general. for the most part. He still does like to go to defense sometimes if it's a big male dog that he doesn't know or something, but he shuts it off pretty quick if I ask him to. And it's not through punishment that I did that. It's actually through some prey work and then that social work that we've also been building on the side. So everything I kind of separate it off, build it over here, and then I'll take it back into the work that I'm using once he's pretty good at it. And it helps me out a ton, and I don't have to get so corrective or so punishing on the dog. I build the drives I want, and then I tie him and show him how to come back to that social drive, which I also want. But I can build a lot of prey work, whether it's ball, whether it's food, whatever, and kind of change that mindset and keep him from diving into the defense realm. All right, so next videos you'll see will be the sequence of what I do to start with these guys. So that's what I'm gonna get started with. All right, so this first dog, this is little Winnie. Hi, Winnie. She's kind of a little beast, little South African Boerboel. I'm gonna bench her right here. Benching is just back tying, obviously. I'm gonna bench her up right here. And this is gonna have to come out and walk right past her. We'll do a little bar work right here. Come here, sweetheart. Hi, I know we'll go out and go potty as soon as we're done doing this. Good girl. Been doing lessons, so they've kind of been hanging out. But first thing I'm gonna do is bring her out. I got her benched. Now I'm gonna bring the other dog. I've got leash. We'll see how they do just passing by each other. I'm gonna bench in the way so they're not like right at each other's face. And I'm gonna put Nyssa on the far one to start, to keep it safe. So my dogs in general are pretty good on leash. These guys have both been trained all the way up through novice stuff. But the animosity between these two, when they lock eyes on each other, then it turns into this growl fest. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna walk up Nyssa kind of closer to Nyssa and see where she goes. Good, Nyssa. And they're pretty good, again, about not going right after her. She made a good decision. Instead of locking eyes on Winnie, she decided to get food. Nyssa stay. So I'm gonna walk over and pay Winnie as well while Nyssa's here. Good. Then we're gonna go away, but we're not gonna get any more food while we're away. Nyssa. Let's try again. She's kind of avoidant of Winnie because she knows she doesn't like her, which isn't that uncommon a thing. Now, if these two were loose, they'd be killing each other's faces right now. She's making a great decision. We've done all this through our social obedience work. Stay. Neither one of them staring or locking or growling. So we're just getting paid in each other's presence. I could still be the leader of this pack. Good, Nyssa, heel. Nice. Hey, good, let's come back. And we'll get some more food over here by her. I know how long that lead is that Winnie's on, and she's about at the end of it. And I've got her leash, so I can control that if I need to. Because if they go after each other, that's a lot of dog in the middle. Good. And it's quick when they do it. Just sit. I try never to get complacent. She's in pretty prey mind right now. She's searching and looking for food. Right? And she hears that click. She knows food's coming. Good. Winnie's still looking for food. They're less interested in each other right now because of the food. And that's a good thing. I control the food. If you do the right things, you can actually access that food, but growling and lunging at this other dog isn't going to get you any. So I'll start building this, and I'll take my time doing this. There's no rush. I don't need to rush this. All I need to do is make sure it happens. If I needed to make it a little bit safer, sit. Using a knee to block Nyssa just so she doesn't jump over there in Winnie's face. Good. Yeah, we only get paid over by here. So good things happen by Winnie. There we go. And I'll just do this several times to make sure that these guys are thinking that, hey, that other dog coming over by me is actually a pretty cool thing. I like it. Out. Here, you can have that piece. What's on it? Nice, Nyssa. And then I'm going to do the same thing with Winnie coming towards Nyssa. So I'm going to hook Nyssa up, and I'm going to bring Winnie to her. Hi. If you're doing this with dogs that are pretty ragey, don't be paying them with food. If they're staring at each other all up in defense brain, don't try to pay them with food, because now you're just paying what you don't want. I'm paying it because they're keeping their minds pretty nice, and they're doing a nice job of not raging at each other. All right, Winnie, we're going to go over and try this. We'll see how this goes this way. Nyssa's really good about being socially responsible with me. Come here, sweetheart. Hey. Good. Winnie, heel. Winnie, sit. Nice response out of Winnie. Nyssa hasn't said anything. She hasn't growled, lunged, barked, or anything. Nice, Nyssa. Good. Winnie, heel. So paycheck stop when we go over here. It'll just be social. Good. Winnie loves working for food, as you can tell. So they're not thinking about being a grump, which is where food can be very helpful. I'm just using that prey as opposed to social obedience right now. But I still expect you to be socially responsible. Sit. Good. Nyssa, can you sit? Nope. Nyssa, sit. Nyssa loves working for food, but she feels a little weird because Nissy's by her, or Winnie's by her, and what happens is they kind of get in this stuck place of like, am I supposed to be defensive? Am I supposed to not? Am I supposed to be in social? Good. So I want to just make it clear that, hey, we can work prey right now, and it's fun. We can enjoy working prey together. Almost got it. You got it, Nyssa. When you sit. Good job. But they're being real nice and they're being around each other. So that's a great first successful session. No lunging, no growling, no barking, no staring, no locking. For me, that's great. I don't need to do more than that on their first one. We'll do some more. I'll have them closer. We'll leave some time in between. But I'll start pushing it. But I don't push it farther than I think they're going to be successful. If I do, I'm just asking for trouble. And that's what people do most of the time. They're like, oh, look how good they were. And they let them loose. And then you have death match on your brain. The longer I let them sit here and maybe stare at each other, if I put one closer, they could change their opinion and their mind. So right now I'm just keeping it pretty easy. In general, I want them to have a great experience by each other and in that kind of prey mindset as opposed to defense or fight or anything. And so far, working out great. And this is how I'll start progressing with this. Before you know it, I would like to have these two be able to pull a sulky together and not eat each other's face when some arousing thing happens or they get excited. I want them to work as a team together. I don't know if I'll get them to that stage. I don't really care, but I'm going to do it safely along the way because I don't want them to fight. I actually like them to be able to at least get along and be around each other without having any kind of issues with aggression. We'll also use stays with this. There's a whole bunch of things I'll have them do, but I'm going to do it safely. They're big dogs, and they're both pretty aggressive when they want to be, so I don't want to push that too far.